In September of 2021, I flew to Texas, bought an empty cargo truck, then drove it 1,100 miles back to Wisconsin, where I spent the following year building it out into a tiny living space. Now, I'm planning to travel the US, Mexico, and possibly Canada. I'm Jack Smackey. Sit back and join me while I take you along on a van life adventure. All right, so baked potato, a little bit of olive oil, and some salt, and that's it. Wrap her up, and we'll put it in the cast iron skillet with a lid on it on a fire, and we'll have baked potato. All right, so obviously this is going to take a minute. I literally just lit this just a few minutes ago, so it's going to take some time for that to get cold up, but that's okay. We got a nice breeze here. All right, let's go flip the taters. Shall we? Yes. See how the fire is turning out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's super hot in there. Super hot in there. Oh yeah, I hear sizzling. That's good. Give it a flip. There we go. Beautiful. You know, I think I could probably stay here for, I mean, this particular park, you're good for 14 days. Now, let's see, the place I stayed at before was free, but this one's like, with the discounts, $5 a night. Even that's not that bad. That's pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. But, you know, to find a place like this, I mean, 14 days, I mean, that's gonna be nice. I mean, we'll see. I'm sure I'll come across places like this in my travels that I'm gonna be able to just hang out. Now I gotta make sure, well, at the end of the day is I can always leave and come back, you know, provisions, fuel, water, and I'm set. All right, let's go grab this ribeye. Yep. Oh yeah, that looks frickin' beautiful. That looks beautiful. The fire, I made one of these the other day, and the fire was definitely hotter. I think it was, there wasn't any wind, so the coals didn't cook down as quickly when I was making the potato. So I didn't get the crust on this ribeye that I did yesterday, or the other day, that is. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, we'll give that a couple more minutes, I think. We'll give that a couple more minutes and then we'll call her even. All right, well, I think I'm ready to eat. This is van life cooking here. Ribeye and a cast iron skillet on the fire, baked potato and a little salad, and I got myself a Texas ale. How about that? Oh, this is gonna be good. All right, so I left the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Thank you, Jamie and Lisa, for your wonderful hospitality. Old friend, former co-worker of mine from a long time ago, like 12, 13 years, reached out and asked if I could swing in for a visit, and he obliged, so we had a really great time. So thank you guys so much for that. I'm here between the Dallas and the Austin area in Clinton, Texas. This is Soldiers Bluff Park on Whitney Lake, or Lake Whitney, depending upon which map you look at. But it's got a big dam here behind me, and I'm in a dispersed campsite area. It's about 13 available campsites, free of charge, maintained by the Army Corps of Engineers. And so I'm here for a few days until I make it down to Austin for my next stop. I'm gonna meet another friend, online friend, there at a pub for Thursday, so that's pretty cool. And then on Friday I'll be heading to Houston, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. Got some good sun, and so far so good. Now the place that I parked in the parking lot. I looked around where the campsites were, and I didn't really want to encroach on anyone. Obviously wanted to give everybody their space. The other problem with a couple of the spots, quite a few of the spots rather, was that they were underneath trees and very little sun for solar. So I chose this parking lot. There were campsites in that area, but the parking lot was sort of inclined. In the midsection of the parking lot was of a less incline than the lower section. So I rocked up in the mid and got out my levelers, jumped up, seemed like I was fairly level, was pretty happy, and then the park maintainer swung by and politely asked me to move to a closer parking space to the actual campsite. There apparently had been some complaints about big rigs parked up in there and not really, so to speak, camping per se. Not saying that the little vans and stuff weren't allowed. It's just that he wanted to be able to identify this van with that campsite specifically. So I obliged, no problem. Unfortunately, I can't get level. I'm just a bit out of level, and it's almost annoying, too annoying. So I'm gonna poke my head around again. There was another spot. It was like a several space parking spot area, and then there was like 2 or 3 campsites there. But there was a car trailer combo parked perpendicular to the spaces, and one of the occupants was in a wheelchair. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna care. They're living their best life, so we're gonna let them go. And I didn't really want to park on top of them either, so I'm gonna walk down there and see if they had vacated this morning. I'm not sure if they had or not, but maybe they have, and if so, I'll just I'll move my rig over there. It's a lot more level. It is in the sun, so hopefully we'll be able to recover. I got down to like 53% last night, but otherwise I'm not too concerned anymore with power, with the generator. So it's pretty cool. So let's go see if I can see if that space is available, and then we'll sort of pack the van up and head over there. Yeah, so nice thing about this park here is it does have a bathroom facility with running water, and it also has a dumpster. So the last dispersed campsite that I was at just had pot toilets. They were clean, no running water per se, and they didn't have any trash. So you packed in, packed out, so to speak. All right, well, it looks like all the spots are still full over here. This would be a nice spot over here, but there's still active camping happening there. The cars were gone. I'm like, oh, maybe, but no, the tent is still there, so I don't really want to go into there either. I don't know if one picnic table counts or whatever, but at any rate, it's not a big deal. I'm only here for a few days, so it's not that big of a deal. It's pretty quiet. I do have a project I want to get on, but I figured I'd better come over here and have a look first and see if that was possible. Then I can move and then have a nice level spot to shake stuff out at and work on stuff. But there is a couple of full-size camping spots up here. Now, I don't know if you got to pay for those, because they do have hookups. There's water and electric and probably sewer too, but they're blocked off, and I would imagine they're more they're more geared towards you know, a bigger rig, which, you know, my rig will fit. You know, there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to park on there. But either they're not open yet for this season, or you have to reserve and pay. So either way, it's not a big deal. But that's it. Anyway, it's a nice place. You know, pretty good, nice looking park. So we'll just carry on, maybe get into this project. All right, so this is the parking lot in question, and I was parked up right over there. It was a little bit more flat, still tipped, but flatter than over here. I've got two sets of these levelers, and I'm as tall as I can, and they're kind of sketch on the asphalt because they don't get any bite. They were kind of sliding around. So this would be like, you know, unless I had two more sets of these where I can build a longer, higher ramp, I don't know that I'd really want to go much higher than this. You know, this is like at the peak, but it's a pretty nice site. Got a concrete picnic table and a little grill. Now it looks like I got a spigot of water over here. I don't know if it's potable, but at the end of the day, it's still water. And I even got a fire ring. So I don't have any wood, unfortunately, so no fire for me. I do have a little bit of charcoal, so we can make a steak. I got one more steak left. Looks like these could be, you know, maintained a little bit better, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Not too shabby, but otherwise, yeah, that's it. This is my site for a couple of days. All right, so I'm gonna have to kind of tear apart the van a little bit to get access to all the things I need to get access to. I got to get some tools out, and I've got to get access into this cabinet over here to run the wiring. I got to pull the refrigerator out, I got to pull the drawers out, and so on and so forth. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create space. I'm going to put my cushions and the cabinet covers out here on the ground for right now, just to get me some room to organize, because I don't want to be fighting to get tools out, because the tools are over in this cabinet, that sort of thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to empty things out, make room. I got to run wire, and I got to install a fuse box underneath where the water pump is. That way I can connect the wire to the fuse box to go to the water purification, the ultraviolet system. So that's what the plan is for right now. All right, so this is the little fuse panel I'm going to install. Basically, this is going to handle the water pump and the UV filtration. I've got a water circuit on the main panel, so this just makes sense to tie into that, and then that way the whole entire water system is on one circuit. Man, do I got this van tore up. All right, here's the state of affairs. I got my tool access open. Didn't want to fart around in a small little hatch, so I took the whole cover off. And then over here, same thing. Didn't really want to mess around with a small little hatch, so I took the whole bench cover off. Countertop's covered full of tools. I've got the drawers pulled out because I'm going to need to run a wire underneath the cabinet space. The next big project is getting in underneath here because we got to remove this drinking faucet and replace it with the new one, and mount the ultraviolet system. So maybe we can put away these dishes right there, and that will free up some space. All right, cool. So this Akuva filter right here, this here guy, comes with a DIN rail for mounting, which is pretty cool. I've called an audible, and I have decided that I'm not going to switch drinking faucets because, well, you know, I just think it's going to be a real pain in the rump to reach my hand up there and swap these out. There's nothing wrong with the one that I've got. The only difference between the Akuva one and this one is there's a fancy little light on the Akuva that lights up when, you know, when the unit is working, to let you know that it's working. But otherwise, beyond that, I'm not going to use that. Now, what else is cool is that it actually comes with 120 volt adapter, which, you know, all cool and stuff, is not really necessarily good for me because I want to run this on 12 volts, which the unit can run on 12 volts, and lo and behold, they send a cable specifically for wiring up for 12 volts, so that's even cooler. So now I got to make myself a connector cable to run back to the fuse panel we just installed, and this installation is going to go pretty quick now. I probably took more time making the mess to get access to some of this stuff than I actually did. I'm going to install this, so let's see what we can do here. All right, so I've got the wire ran. I got the Akuva mounted up here. The power cable ran through the cabinets. The plumbing ran. There's a little flow restrictor on there going to the faucet. So that should take care of that. And then the last thing I need to do is I just need to wire up my connectors down here and then test it out. Beautiful. Well, there you have it. All right, now to test this water out, I guess. So obviously, there's a few air bubbles in the filtration system that I'm sure will work out over time, because I had winterized the van last fall and removed the filters that I had in there, threw them away, installed new ones, and so now I've got you know, brand new filters ready to rock. And this is the first time I've ran water through there, so here we go. Tastes like good water, but I'm happy, really happy. I was concerned about, I mean, I've lived in the same place all my life, drank well water. Never had any issues with my water from the whole time I was there, and you know, me traveling around, obviously I'm gonna be grabbing sources of water from, you know, not quite sure how good or whatnot. So having a filter before I put it into my 30-gallon tank, and then a 3-stage sediment filter for my drinking water, and then this Akuva ultraviolet light will make sure that I don't get sick from drinking crappy water. So that's the plan anyways. And with that said, I'm going to close this video out. I'm going to spare you the nightmare of the cleanup, but this van is definitely in a mess state. So we'll get it all picked up, cleaned up, organized, and we'll relax for the afternoon. How about that? See you next one. Thank you very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out next week's video. And if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe.